5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are in the world, one of those will apply to you. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching live on YouTube, do get your predictions in. We're back with the prediction show, yes. Just when you thought it was safe to turn your TV back on, the Premier League is back. But we may be counting the days down for Ruud van Nistelrooy, if Leicestershire Live is to be believed, which, let's be honest with you, it never is. Liam Rosinia is being scouted, apparently. It won't happen, I don't think. I think we're stuck with this Dutch dickhead for at least till the end of the season. I was hoping he'd have gone during these 2 weeks, but not to be. But we are back. It is the Prediction League. We've got midweek games. There are also games next weekend, but we'll be doing the show next Thursday, so we'll be including those in there. I'm joined by my two compatriots this evening, Brad and Wayne, who have both been extremely busy today. Brad apparently has been stroking a pussy on his lap. I don't know where to go with that. And Wayne apparently was helping out in his lady friend's garden. What he was doing with her lady garden, I have no idea. It's a prediction show. Let's get everybody in. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Chris.
Have you still got the dirt under your nails? Now, I don't know whether I'm saying that to Brad or Wayne, to be honest with you, with what you two are up to.
He's just full of it, isn't he? Just because he hasn't been trimming any bushes or putting his hand in lady gardens in a while. It's just jealousy, isn't it, Wayne? Just envious.
Yeah, this is a generation where they did songs about my biggest aspidistro.
You are really showing your age there, Wayne. My God, that was on the old 78th, wasn't it?
It was. My granddad used to have a song called "Wood Chopper Don't Chop That Tree Down." And basically, the guy used to climb up the tree to hide from his missus.
Very sensible, I must say. Very sensible.
78.
But anyway, we'll move on from my bush and leave that alone. We are back. We are going to be looking at the 10 games that are being played midweek. No games this weekend, so you can at least have another weekend off when you know it's not going to be ruined, and prepare yourself for next week. Because, of course, it's the FA Cup, and, we got knocked out by Man United, didn't we, Brad?
You mean Chichester United? You mean pay the officials to be blind United? Yeah, we got knocked out by them. I mean, it was the only saving grace we were holding on to, wasn't it? A nice FA Cup run, but then the linesman went and spoiled it all by going, it's only 5 yards offside. But I'm not bitter about it. I'm over it. It's all good.
Do you think? Liam Rossinia at Wayne. We've been linked with him before.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is with these rumour mills, it's like some of the players we've been linked with. You get your hopes up. I would like a good young manager. He's got experience. I don't know. I mean, where do we go from here? Where do we go, Chris? That's the question.
Championship, I do believe.
So is Rude the man to? Will he waste the squad?
No, he's not. He's not the right man in any sense, in any form. But it just goes to show what we all know about football, because most of the fans, and I can't remember what you two guys were saying, we all wanted Rude, but, it's a funny old game, isn't it, as somebody once said. Brad, talk us through, unfortunately, this is where I just nip off to the loo, but talk us through the table.
Oh, yeah, well, it's looking a bit better from my perspective, although it couldn't get much worse. But,
is there anybody below you that's actually predicting still?
Yeah, Wayne.
All right, Brad, all right.
Paddy every so often, and Jeff. Yeah, they're all there. It's three out of 4 isn't bad. It's a crap version of Meatloaf, but we're there. All right, yeah. So, some of them are. I had one of the better weeks, as you may know. Me and Wayne, we had 6 points, along with a few others like John.
Yeah, Wayne got 6 points.
Yeah. Oh, no. There is 1, 2, 3. Just the 3 of you. Just you. Funny enough, Paddy, who's below me. And who else? Jeff, funny enough. So you're doing as good as the relegation. You're showing relegation form, Chris, with your whopping 2 points. But... Shane, Shane Downs, if you're watching, mate, or you're on catch up, Chris has got the Samaritans number available for you, because you scored a whopping 1. Now that's not correct results. That's points. You got a whopping 1 point.
Well, do you know what it is? Right, because last week I had the week before that, so I had such a good week, and I thought, do you know what? It's not fair.
Oh, yeah, that old chestnut. Wait, Chris, remind me, which side of the board were you last week? Weren't you further over, and now you've been dropped down 3 or 4 pegs?
Yes, but I'm scared of heights, and I got too high, and I was getting a nosebleed.
Chris, did you actually say that you had a good week? I didn't actually hear that.
Did you know?
You kept that quiet, didn't it?
The week before, I got quite a few correct scores, I do believe, and I just thought, do you know what? It hurt me to come on and have to say it, so I thought this week I'll do really, really bad, and then you guys feel so bad.
It was his cheeks and smiling so much. He was that happy with his cheeks. He had John Rook in there.
He was tweeting about. It was trending on Twitter because Chris was mentioning it so much.
Yeah.
This is very true. All I would say is I hope John Rudkin had washed his hands. Don't start that again. Right, so let's have a look. Here we go with the games. We're going to look at the games. I'll give a little brief intro without taking, your glory off, Brad. I know Brad doesn't like me doing my intros. I usually say exactly what he's going to say. Doesn't stop him saying it as well, but no. There we go.
Oh, well, time to freeze. Peace and quiet.
Uh,
So how rubbish was his week, eh? He's back. So how you doing, Chris? How you doing? You definitely didn't freeze for 30 seconds there.
I know my Tinternet is being a bit bad.
You funny enough, you froze and the viewer figures went up by 3. So I'm just saying, Chris.
Remember what I can do, Brad. Remember what I can do. Right, so the first game, there's 3 on Tuesday, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Wednesday, and 1 on Thursday. But we'll be doing the prediction show then, so we won't be able to do a league table next week, thank God.
You
The
won't be
first,
saying that if you have a good week.
Yeah.
you know what? It may get mentioned. It may just get, eased in there. But the first game, Tuesday, a London derby, Arsenal are hosting Fulham. Arsenal have only lost once in their last 19 matches, but they've only scored a total of 2 goals in the last 4 games. Arsenal have conceded a total of only 3 goals in the after the 75th minute, and Fulham have won 3 of the 6 matches where they were losing at half time. How do you see this one going, Brad?
It's going to be a tough game for everybody, really. To be honest with you, Fulham have had a terrific season. Probably been, not talked about as much because certain other teams are stealing the limelight a little bit this season with how they're overachieving. But Arsenal are trying to make Spurs feel better, aren't they? Because if there's ever a chance this season that the might of Manchester City was going to get stopped through burnout, and I do fully believe it's burnout. With their 75 transfer windows that's just been awarded because there was some poxy cash cow friendly. It's funny that Premier League doesn't have favourites, but they're allowed 2 transfer windows because the 2 clubs said so. But anyway, Arsenal have really choked it, haven't they? Liverpool have been impressive, although they've actually gone off the boil. They went from quadruple to 1 in the space of a fortnight. But still, they've missed out on a title, and they've just proven they haven't got the mantra for a title push. But yeah, both teams having a decent season. I would say, in terms of expectation, Fulham probably having a better one. If you're being honest, Chris,
Compared to what you were expecting at the start of the season.
Oh yes,
I think you could be right. Have they? I mean, look, like you just said, Brad, they are doing their best to impersonate Spurs. Have they blown it? I mean, this was the season, with Man City not performing very well, that Arsenal should have come through and done it, but Liverpool have stormed it. Or, we'll come on to Liverpool later. So, have Arsenal become Spursy?
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels like. Like you said, it was a missed opportunity, and credit to Arne Slot. A lot of people were probably expecting that transition. The passing of the torch from Klopp to Arne is probably going to be a case of okay, we're going to have to go for a few seasons where we're pushed back a bit, and we're not going to be able to maintain what Klopp built. And granted, it's a bit Ranieri-esque with the whole Pearson thing. If you've watched our flashback show to the 2015-16 season, you'll understand that. If not, go and check it out after this. It was a really good show. But I feel like this was the opportunity for the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea to kind of nick a trophy in the bag because of it. Liverpool weren't supposed to be flying away with it. And the biggest concern is teams like this they've played against with the greatest respect, but they've dropped points against them. They haven't beaten teams enough comprehensively. And one of the biggest things Arsenal fans have said has let them down this season is the non-striker purchase in the summer in the window. They haven't handled injuries well enough, and the squad of their caliber, Chris, hasn't handled injuries well at all season. I mean, when Odegaard's been missing, they've dropped off like a sack, and then when he's come back and Saka being fit as well, that's when their performances have slowly picked up. But it's far too gone now, and it really is a missed opportunity for them, like you said, Chris, because they've just completely missed the target. Worse than Leicester at missing targets now.
Yeah. Just hello to everybody. We've got a few results to come up in predictions to come up in a second. But the interesting thing is, before we get on to Fulham and talking of Arsenal, I remember that TalkSport were accusing Robbie at Arsenal of saying that he loved it when Arsenal lost because he actually got more views. And he was denying that. And yet the view count for the video we did about the where are they now sort of, with all the and looking back at the players, was actually half what we got for when we've been discussing relegation the week before. Maybe nobody likes talking about the good times. I don't know. Interesting. Fulham, Wayne. Look, at home, Arsenal are averaging 2.21 points. Away, 1.57 for Fulham. They have won 3 of the last 4. They did lose to Brighton last week, but they won 3 before that, of course, including us and also Newcastle, against an Arsenal side that's only won 2 of the last 4. Do you reckon Fulham could nick something here?
Yeah, I do. I really like Silva. I like his teams. It was a very close game with Spurs, but they came out on top. Plays 4-2-3-1. I mean, it is front 4. Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Willian, Jimenez. They've got Pereira, who also comes on. Sessegnon. They've got a really good, fit, very skillful side. Excellent manager. Castagne's still doing. I mean, to win 4 and lose 2 of the last 6. And to be honest, they're sort of doing better than other teams that were expected to do well, like Bournemouth, for instance.
Yes.
Because I really thought Bournemouth would push for Europe. It might. I mean, Fulham, will they make Europe? Probably not. But they are a very, very good Premier side.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see if they could get that push to get that little bit higher. But I think they will give local derby. They'll give Arsenal a really good game, actually. I think it will be quite close.
I think so. I've written my score down. Oh, but Brad, what are you going for?
Well, I'm tempted to change my mind, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with me guns because I haven't posted it in the group yet, so I could
Desmond.
You're close. You are close. I don't think this will be a good game. I think it'll be an even contest.
No.
And I've gone.
No.
Arsenal.
No.
1.
No. Don't you dare.
Fulham. 1.
No. You bastard.
So is that 1-1 then, Chris? Yeah.
You bugger you.
So that's Chris going 1-1 as well. I'll just write that in.
I haven't said anything yet.
Oh yeah, I think we can tell, Chris.
No. Have you heard a score come out of my lips?
I think it was subliminally, yes, Chris. I think your body language is saying 1-1.
Go and get the Tipex, Chris. Go on.
I don't believe that.
First game in, that's it. Chris's afternoon's ruined.
Chris is going to say that on every one because Chris is not prepared. Chris has not done the score, so every time he's going to feint that he put the scores down, and he's going to go to try and match you, Brad.
There he has. Waiting.
And you haven't even written Wayne's in yet because you haven't told me yet, Wayne. So
I'm going to say
I still officially haven't said mine yet. So
right, I'd say Arsenal 1, Fulham 2.
Wayne, you missed the opportunity there, Wayne. You really missed an opportunity.
For a full house, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
One job, Wayne. You had one job.
Well, let's add Craig to the list because he's gone 1-1.
Hey.
1-1 on.
Shall we have the first Desmond of the evening? And the award for the first Desmond goes to Prashant, who's gone 2-2. Jesse, hi Jess, has gone Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. Like buses, just when one comes, two comes together. I've been on a night out like that. Blue Fox Forever has gone Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. Oh, I need to stop. And he goes on to Prashant goes on to add, imagine they were promoted to the Premier League 2 seasons ago. I call it this Leicester effect. You know about Fulham?
Fulham, I believe.
I believe he's talking Fulham. Right, I'm not writing mine down now. I'm refusing to. But the next game up, you see the details up there. Wolverhampton Wanderers, which of course is your dad's team, Brad, against Harry Potter's West Ham United, who haven't really done as well as other teams with the new managers, as in Everton. But I mean, they're not going to go down because there are 3 worse teams. But Wolves have lost 9 of their 14 home matches. West Ham United have scored in each of their last 9 away matches. Let's have a look here. The points at home for Wolves is 0.79. Away from Manchester United, from West Ham United, their average is 1.21. Brad, your team Wolves, they've lost 2. They drew with Everton last week, lost to Villa. So beat Villa, and lost to Fulham and Arsenal. Are Wolves going to put the nail in the coffin for Leicester?
They did that when they amassed 23 points. But yeah, they're going to keep adding nails to the coffin. They did this smart maneuver, Chris, right? And apparently Leicester people watch this show. What they did right is they realised their team was in shit creek without a paddle. And what they did is they looked at who their manager was and realised that maybe he was a little bit out of his depth. He was in his comfort zone at Bournemouth, but he was a little bit out of his depth. And instead of letting sentiment keep a hold of him like we did with Brendan Rodgers a few seasons before, they heard the crowd's murmurs and they went, tell you what, we hear what you're saying, we don't like it either, so we're going to sack our manager. They went and got somebody who's already managed for a while, doing the job, not just 10 minutes. Yeah, right. Keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. I
hope Paddy's not watching this, or he'll be on the floor shaking.
He'll be crying. He will be crying. But it's just strange, isn't it, Chris? Because they must have had the same list of Leicester and went, Gerrard, no, he's an ex-player, didn't do very well. Lampard, no, found his feet in the Championship with Coventry. That's about it. Wayne Rooney, no. Ruud van Nistelrooy, 4 games managed against 2 against Leicester. No. Oh, look, this guy's a manager. He's got qualifications and everything. He hasn't been in the job for only 6 months. He's, we look like Portugal. We play like Portugal. We've got Portuguese players. Let's get rid of this Spanish swat and bring, let's bring in an English guy and bring in a Portuguese manager. And lo and behold, Chris, lo and fucking behold, the team that couldn't win if their life depended on it went up the table.
First meltdown of the night from Brad.
Yeah, I'm not annoyed that we decided to get rid of an experienced Championship survivalist just because he had a record with Nottingham Forest, despite past history with Nottingham Forest players and managers that have been successful at the club, and replaced him with a clown from the Netherlands. No, I'm not. I'm over it, though, Chris. I'm over it. Yeah, well done, Wolves, on surviving because we're too stupid to make a decent appointment. Well done.
You still with us there, Wayne?
I think Brad just needs a brown paper bag to breathe into, doesn't he? I mean,
he needs chill, Brad, chill.
It is painful, though, isn't it, when you think that Wolves and other teams that Palace that we're right next to, and where their trajectory that they've been on, and the points difference, the goal difference, it is.
Oh, it is totally. But West Ham, they lost to Chelsea 2-1. They beat Arsenal 1-0. These are the last 4 away games. They drew with Everton last time out, and they drew with Villa. Like I say, their away game points is an average of 1.21. They're back where they started, though. I mean, Potter came in, and the guy, Posteleg, what was he called?
Lost a leg, Lou.
Yeah, whatever it was, floppy loppy, whatever he was called. It actually got them up the table, and now Potter's taken them back down because they're virtually where they were before. But surely you'd look at this and say this is an away win, wouldn't you, Wayne?
I don't know, to be honest. I think Potter, I mean, whether in time he'll turn things around. I mean, I think they're, without Bowen, they would really struggle, to be honest. Because Bowen's back, he's playing really well. He's actually playing for England, isn't he, Bowen?
Yeah.
And he looked brilliant when he came on for England. So, yeah, I'd say if Bowen got injured again, I think they'd be sort of finishing 16th, 17th. I don't see Potter really changing them. I think their forever blowing bubbles glory days are over, really.
Ooh.
Yeah, it almost seems to be what happens when you sack somebody who brings you European success. Sorry, I'm not saying that West Ham fans are selfish.
Well, it's crazy yet the West Ham fans still say that it was the right thing to do. It was time for Moyes to move on.
Which I think is ludicrous. I feel like that man could have won them the quadruple and they said, well, that's not good enough.
I think the problem is, I think it's like when people always say to us, well, what the bloody hell were you doing getting rid of Claudio Ranieri? You know, you never know quite the same as the actual fans of the clubs, do you?
They just wanted to get relegated with entertaining football. Moyes was bringing them silverware. I know which I'd rather have.
Indeed.
Well, interesting as well. Moyes at Everton is actually, like Jim said, that article, he's got them to play further forward, and they're actually quite exciting. They're still defensively very good. So who knows, you know, like Moyes, for instance, even getting rid of Cooper, isn't it? Getting rid of Moyes is quite almost in tandem with getting rid of Cooper, because Cooper was getting more out of the players than Rude is getting now. By far.
Yeah. He was 16th and safe.
Right, well, I've not written mine down, but I've got a thing in mind. And of course, Wolves, no Cunha.
Yay.
Do they need him though? When he's been suspended, they've still won.
They got a free pass playing fucking Southampton, didn't they?
But psychologically, I think it has an effect, isn't it? It's
so if there's a God.
Yeah, well, exactly. Vardy's not scoring for us, but if he was injured and out, you'd still think, oh, for God's sake, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Right,
shit would come into my mind.
Amongst a few others. Wolves, West Ham, Brad.
Yeah, congratulations, Wolves. You were safe a few weeks ago, and you're going to go double figures clear of Leicester at least. Wolves 2, West Ham 1.
Wait, what are you going for?
You won't be saying that, well, that's a full-time school. You'll be cursing and chucking your computer around.
I will.
Yeah, I've gone for a Wolves win, Chris, 2-1.
You're going 2-1 as well.
I
was going 2-1. Maybe best buddy here. We're going to agree. Go 2-1.
We're going to get 6 points together, aren't we, Wayne?
If you're at the bottom, the clue is you need to mimic other people who are more successful than yourself. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but you don't know what I'm going to say.
Well, I'm mimicking Brad, though, Chris. I don't want to mimic you.
Well, interestingly, I have also gone for 3 goals. But I have gone the West Ham way. I've gone Wolves 1, West Ham 2.
You're going to look so stupid when Wolves are 2-0 up after 20 minutes.
And you'll be pissed off when West Ham get 3 in the last 10.
True.
Craig has gone Wolves 1, West Ham. No, I think he got carried away with his fingers. No, I'm not. No, I refuse.
You want to.
I want to, but I'm not going to. Wolves 1, West Ham 0, says Craig. Jesse has gone Wolves 1, West Ham 1. Jesse, that's a Sunday name. Prashant, hi Sam, by the way. Prashant's gone 1-1. And Blue Fox, God, I like the cut of that man's jib. He's gone Wolves 1, West Ham 2.
Sorry,
Tony's Wolves 5 points clear, then play Danny Ward. The rest is history. Wolves to win, though, he says. Yeah, don't remind us, Tony. Wolves 1, West Ham 3, says Sam. Can I just say what's going to happen next season when we don't have Danny Ward with us? You know, although, of course, I'm saying that, if we lose Mad to Manson, they might give him a contract extension. Ugh. Right. The last game on the Tuesday, Nottingham Forest are hosting Chichester United. Nottingham Forest have scored the opening goal in 76% of their matches. So 22 matches out of the 29, Forest scored first. They have the best clean sheet at home, 50% this season, 7 in 14. Manchester United have failed to keep a clean sheet in each of their last 8 home matches, and 62% of Manchester United conceded goals were conceded at home, 25 out of 40. And the average points at home, Nottingham Forest, their average points is 2 per game. Away, Manchester United is 1.21. Makes it maybe look a little bit closer. But Forest, 3 wins, 1 draw, including beating Manchester City last time out. So it can be done. And you've got a decent manager. Manchester United beat Leicester for the 4th time, obviously, last time out. Drew with Everton. Lost to Tottenham. I don't know how they managed that. And they did actually beat Fulham. Brad, let's give Forest a little bit of credit. I know it does hurt, but let's, they're doing well, aren't they? And I'd love to see them in the Championship, in the Champions League.
No, you were right the first time. Yeah.
I know. I nearly got that. Well, I did get that completely wrong.
Yeah, I'll give it.
I don't care. And people do pile on me for this, but we've got to remember that some of the Forest fans were actually pleased for us when we won the league. It does work both ways. And if it means that Manchester United are in the Champions League, or Chelsea are in the Champions League, or even Manchester City and Forest are, go Forest, go. That's what I say. Chris Forrier, News at 10, Leicester.
I've got visions of Twist being a cheerleader in a skirt saying, go Forest, go.
You don't know what I'm wearing, waist down. Very little of the truth.
And nobody ever should see it either.
No.
A little bit of credit to Forest. There you go. That's my credit. But this is a lesser of 2 evils for me, because I feel like you say that some Forest fans give us credit for it, and they probably did, Chris. You're probably not wrong. They probably did. But trying to say good things about Forest is like cheering on Wales against Belgium in the quarterfinals when they wouldn't give a toss about England. If we were the only ones left, they'd stop watching the football. So kind of wanting my local rivals to get in the Champions League and get that. No, I'd roll on Bournemouth. I'd roll on anyone else other than Forest. I kind of want them to have an okay season, but fuck them getting in Champions League. And if they do get,
I don't want them to win the Premier League. I wouldn't go
No. Although apparently spending 200 million and being 27 points off top is doing a Leicester, if you want to believe the journalism. Or maybe not that for many points behind, but there you go. But look, if they do get Champions League football, they will obviously earn it. They are having an incredible season, all jokes aside. If they do get Champions League, I hope they get a nice, easy group and get battered every week. But it's Chichester United, and honestly, we said this a little bit tongue in cheek about them every time they have a bad start, but this is the first season they've been continuously bad. Any other season, Chris, they would be terrified of actually being in the Championship next season. I'm sure the EPL would have stepped in and done some.
I'll pull you back to Nottingham Forest because you're going on to Wayne's toes there.
I know, but I'm just saying. But Forest are having a good season.
He said it twice. He means it, guys. He said it twice.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I have to point out stats, don't I, and facts, and the fact of the matter is, whether I like it or not, they are right up there. And they're not letting one form dictate the other, are they? They're quite good at home and away from home. Dished out a 7-0 beating, who apparently Brighton took that personally. And they look really good for European football. It's going to be a very successful season wherever they finish up, whatever amount of European football, which you imagine they're getting, even if it is the Europa League football they end up getting and not Champions League, you'd still say that is a very successful season for Forest this year and doing well. Again, I'll say it for a third time just to make you feel better.
We get it. We get it. Wayne, and I'm looking at these stats here, and obviously I read a few out earlier. Forest have actually only lost 7 games this season. Manchester United have lost 12. But at home, Forest, they've only lost 2. Manchester United's away form, they've only managed to win 4 away all season, although let's be honest with you, we'd take that. I don't think Amarin's going to be sacked, and I know 1 or 2 Man United fans who would actually gladly swap Ruud van Nistelrooy for Amarin, and I said, no, let me get in my car and drive up and pick him up for you. But by any standards, Manchester United, they're in the doo-doo this season, aren't they?
They are in the doo-doo, but then teams like Leicester come along and give them loads of nice presents.
Yes, that's true.
Garnacho, when we played them, hadn't scored in a long time, scores, hasn't scored since. Leicester played them. Hoyland hasn't scored for ages. There you go, Hoyland, have a goal on us. Amarin, I really like Amarin as a manager, actually. I hope he does get the time. And what a difficult job to take over. I mean, yeah, they lost a couple, but then they've drawn one. Life without Rashford goes on, and other stars. And I think, like when Maresca went into Chelsea, he's sorting a lot of the fundamentals out there. They lost to Fulham, didn't in the cup on penalties, the FA Cup just. Yeah. They are in the Europa League quarterfinals. So, I mean, look, they've had a crap season, but they've had a not a bad season, really. And Fernandes, I was torn because Fernandes, I drafted him in as my captain for my fantasy.
There we go. He mentioned it. Game three, Wayne. That's on the
right drop, and he got me 34 points.
Shame you can't have the same effect for you in the predictions.
Exactly. Do you know what? I was bottom of the fantasy in the group that plays football, and I'm now mid-table. So there is hope that I can just get off the bottom on this prediction. But no, I'd say, I mean, they've got Eriksen's back now, isn't he, from injury as well. So I think they'll have a good end to the season, Man United, to be honest.
Yeah. 50% of Man United games they've conceded first.
Yeah, they can't keep a clean sheet. One thing, one thing interesting looking at a lot of these fixtures though, like when Arsenal played Chelsea, Arsenal had 40% possession, Chelsea had 60%, Arsenal win. A lot of teams have 40% possession and they win these games in the Premier League. Just the 60%ers, it doesn't add up to winning games.
No, not at all.
Shame Ruud van Nistelrooy keeps trying that and it don't work with Leicester.
Do you know what is very interesting about Nottingham Forest as well?
Nothing.
I've got a new toy here. You can tell, can't you? That Nottingham Forest, not once of this season have they conceded in both halves. They've either conceded in the first half or the second half, but they've never conceded. Like if they lose 2, let's say they lost 2-0, it would all be in one half. So I just think the guy's doing a really good job there. Brad, what are you going for?
Easy, 3-0 Forest.
And Wayne?
I'd say 2-1 to Forest.
Well, my first thought was that Man United wouldn't score. But 2-0 to Forest, I went. That was my first thought. And when I heard those 3 come off Brad's lips, I was so excited. Right, let's see what people have been saying in the chatto. Forest 2, Manchester United 1, says Craig Gilbert. You're agreeing with Wayne. 1-1, says Paul Stevenson. Prashant agrees with me. 2-0 to United. Amarin's success lasted 6 games, did he? I mean, I've got to say with Amarin, he didn't want the Man United job mid-season.
I'm guessing now he didn't have it at all.
No, you take it or you leave it. So, you know, it was anyway. That's their problems, not ours. We've got enough of our own, haven't we? Right, next up on the old scoreometer, my local team Bournemouth, who are having an unreal season, hosting Ipswich. Bournemouth, you've let me down so often. We need you to be Everton to stay up a couple of seasons ago. What did you do? Last game of the season, you lost to them. You know, you couldn't beat Wolves earlier for us. But Bournemouth have lost their last 3 home matches in which they scored a total of only 1 goal. However, Bournemouth are the team that scored the most goals after the 75th minute of in the games, which was 17. Ipswich have conceded 2 goals or more in each of their last 5 home matches, and Ipswich have scored in 10 of their 14 away matches. I'm just looking here. 1.5 is the points per game at home for Bournemouth. 0.71 is Ipswich's. Looking at the most recent games, home games, Bournemouth have lost their last 3. But they did beat Forest 5-0 before that. The last 5 away, Ipswich lost to Palace, lost to Man United, lost to Liverpool, and got a point off Aston Villa. I've got a sneaky feeling for this one. I'm not going to tell you which way, but Brad, is where Bournemouth get back to winning ways?
I mean, I'd say we ideally, being a Leicester fan, we want it to be the case, but I'm past caring, really. If Ipswich finish above us, then so be it. They deserve it because they've done this thing called effort all season. Even when they got battered, they've put effort in. I mean, that result against Forest last week, the bastards, it was 3-1. I had it in the bag, and then they went and both scored 2 late goals. But no, honestly,
you and me both, mate. I feel your pain on that one.
I know we were both. That was the one we agreed on. But Chris, I'm not saying that you've gone a certain particular way. Maybe you've stopped at halfway. I don't know. But I'll be honest with you, Bournemouth. This is a game where I feel that something could happen in this game that basically puts another nail in after another nail's put in it after Wolves win. Bournemouth are having a great season, and again, it'll be up there as a season that goes unnoticed because obviously Sky and that will only want to talk about Man City's downfall and Liverpool winning the league. They don't care about anyone else doing magnificent and overachieving because the Bournemouth manager, along with probably Nuno or anyone else like that, they won't be up for Manager of the Year award. It'll be bottled 4 trophies, win one of them, Arnie Slot that wins it. But they deserve the credit they've got. I mean, that Kluivert, like father, like son, he's going to be somebody they struggle to keep hold of next season. He really is.
I think they could struggle to keep hold of Areola.
Well, yeah, they may well do, Chris. They may well do. Some big wigs, maybe not even in England, will be probably looking for a new manager. But yeah, Kluivert's form as of late has been sensational, And the one thing that Bournemouth fans will probably hold on to is in the summer they'll get a big fee for him because if anything's a bit equal, they can hold out for a big fee with him. But this is a game where I probably, in my head, Chris, I had 3 different results that I want to write down, and
home win, away win, and draw. I'm guessing.
Literally, Chris, it was like this. Where's this goal going to go? Do I just leave it as it is? It's a fun game, Chris. Well, it's not a fun game. It's horrible.
I was speaking to Paddy because we were doing a Premier League countdown, and I also spoke to Dan, the Burnley fan, to do a Championship countdown of where teams may finish. And he thinks that Bournemouth will end up in Europe. I mean, Europe could go right down to 8th, the way things are looking. I don't think they will. I think they've blown it, but I think a top 10 is very good for them. Interestingly, Wayne, Ipswich, unlike a certain Mr. Cooper who said, I'm going to go for experience, they went for young, exciting championship players. It was going to be interesting to see which one worked. It looks like neither of them have worked, but if we don't both go down, Ipswich are going down with some championship-ready players. You know, I mean, Ayew and Dukova Reed in the championship, God help us. But it's a shame if they go down. I'd like to see them go up. Could they get something from this game?
I don't think so. I know Bournemouth have had a dip. I really did think Bournemouth had a good chance of getting into the Champions League slots. But McKenna's Ipswich. I think McKenna, if they go down, I think he'll move on, won't he?
You think so?
I do think the Premier clubs would look at him. I just think he has bought a lot of young players, and it's interesting how the two clubs have gone different ways. One, Leicester going the older players, Ipswich going the younger, and as you said, neither have really worked out.
No.
And the thing is that Ipswich have been in every single game. I think Ipswich is a team that every season you get a team that really tries to play football, goes for it, plays with a heart on the sleeve, doesn't try and change things or sit deep in defensively to try and snatch straws. And I think Ipswich is that team where people say, you know what, they are a really good team, and it's a shame they can't stay up, which is different to what they'll be saying to Leicester, because we are not that kind of team this season, are we really?
No.
George Hurst scored again, came on as sub, scored for Ipswich. What's it like to... he must have been laughing when he scored a goal, thinking, here's me scoring for Ipswich, and Leicester can't buy a goal.
Yeah, no, indeed. Yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it? Right. Brad, Bournemouth, Ipswich.
I've got a bad feeling about this, and that's not a pun at the Star Wars quote. I do have a bad feeling about this game, and they say you should trust your instincts, because my instinct said Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 2, but I've let my heart roll my head for some stupid reason in this case, and I've gone Bournemouth 2, Ipswich Town, who like to score lots of goals, 1.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Where's the Tipex? Wayne, what have you gone for?
3-2 to Bournemouth.
Oh, so you think there's going to be lots of goals? You know, I've got a bad feeling about this as well.
How bad's that feeling?
That feeling's very bad for Leicester, I'm afraid.
Oh,
I think Ipswich will actually get something. And I'm going to go, wait for this, Bournemouth 2, Ipswich Town 2.
Hey! He's won the Desmond Wall. There you go, another bingo card. Chris predicts Desmond.
I just think Bournemouth are on that bad run at the moment. Ipswich, look, I mean, I know I'm going through form stats, but I mean, form means bugger all this season, does it? But yeah, I have a horrible feeling that this is this is another nail, as they say. Prashant has gone, where are we? 2-1 to Ipswich. Oh, it's gone for an Ipswich win. Paul's agreed with me, 2-2. Hi, Rob Taff, is it? The most competitive PL in years, so many in the chase at the top and some big clubs in the bottom half and smaller clubs in the top half, which is nice to see. But yes, it is a completely funny season this season. Craig has gone 2-0 to Bournemouth. And I hope Mark Hutchinson stays in the Premier League, either with Ipswich or another team. There is talent in the young lad. So I've gone for the first Desmond of the evening in the chat. And next up, it's Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Aston Villa. Brighton are in 7th. Villa are in 9th. Let's have a look what the stats say about this one. 1.71 goals per game for Brighton, 1.21 away goals per game for Villa. Their last 5 home games, Brighton, they've won 3 of them, and they lost, believe it or not, back in January to Everton 1-0. Villa drew with Arsenal away, then lost to Wolverhampton away, lost to Palace away before beating Brentford 1-0 last week. But they haven't got Champions League this week, Brad. So is this going to be a tough game, or are Brighton going to carry on their winning home streak?
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game for both sides. Brighton have, again, they're up there. They've had a better season than they did under Harry Potter's dad. European football is something that they've contended with in recent seasons, and they're looking to try and get back into it now. They've responded well, and I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it, Chris. You do love to mention it, but it's the second time I'm going to mention it tonight. They do love, to bounce back from losing 7-0. Not many teams can do that. That's normally the start of their.
Always mentions it.
Yeah, like Basil Fawlty with the war.
Yes.
But no, honestly, they've bounced back well. They've done really well, and for me, it's going to be a tough game, Chris. That Villa don't have Champions League football to contend with. We've seen the miniature knock-on effect that seems to have out of them. It just seems to take the legs out of them a little bit. But they've got a quality side to be able to maintain enough and bounce back, which they've proven before. It's going to be an interesting game, Chris. It's going to be a very interesting one.
I have just written my score down for this one. Wayne, a majority of Brighton's wins have been obtained with 1-goal margin. A majority of Brighton's defeats have had a margin of 2 goals or more. Villa need this to get back on track, and so they do seem to struggle when it's a Champions League week.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for good reason, though. I mean, playing Paris Saint-Germain in the quarterfinals, isn't it? My goodness me.
Yeah.
Who beat Liverpool comfortably, really, didn't they?
Not saying that. Not getting me included on that one, mate.
Although Liverpool, because Curtis Jones, it got the goal. I mean, they're all over Liverpool. But I mean, look at Villa's side, as Brad said. Konza, Martinez, brilliant goalkeeper. Tillemans, Rodgers, the midfield, Rodgers, McGinn, Rashford, Watkins up front, and they signed Rossini as well. They're just a quality side, and I think it's going to be hard balancing. How much do they want to go for the Champions League and think, well, we're probably not going to get in Europe this year. It's a sliding scale of how much you gamble, isn't it? It's tick or twist. And look at us in the Champions League. So, you might only be there once, so how much do you really want to go for it? I think Villa are sort of, lost one in the last 3. Good form. I can see Villa beating Brighton, yeah. That's what I think.
Interesting. Brad, your prediction, sir?
Early in the show, Chris, you mentioned buses. And it's the same here. Because if you go with 2-2 for the game previously, it got me 3 points last week when I did it for Brighton. So I've done it again, Chris. Don't fix what's not broken. I have gone Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Aston Villa 2.
Hey! He couldn't resist it. It's like when you go out at night and when you have that first pee and you break the seal, and you can't stop going. I broke the seal with my 2-2. Now they're all coming in. What, Wayne? How does my mind work sometimes?
Who knows, Chris? It's a one-off, mate. I'd say Brighton 1, Villa 2. And just another thing on Villa, how good was Rodgers for England as well? I mean, he's a quality.
Very good. Yes.
Hold on a minute before we start overhyping Gerard Bowens and your bloody Morgan Rogers. It was fucking Latvia, lads.
You can only play one.
Very exciting, very important game, Brad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it totally had an impact on these players that won't be in the squad come the tournament.
Oh dear! No, don't get me started. Wayne knows my thoughts.
Well, I do. We'll be here till 10 o'clock.
You will. Right, so we've got a draw and an away win. So I suppose if I went for a home win, that would be the full set, wouldn't it?
It would. You're not going to know.
I have gone for it because I have gone Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Aston Villa 1. Which is what I thought you were going to go for, Brad, because you're better about buses and what have you, and you'd gone 2-1 before and thinking, you can't do me twice. What do you want to say about Manchester City? They're struggling, but look, they're playing Leicester, so we know they're going to get, is it a case of how many? I mean, Manchester City conceded a total of 10 goals in the first 15 minutes. Only Wolves have conceded more goals within the same time frame. Leicester City have lost their last 7 home matches.
Oh, sure, shut up.
The Foxes have scored 72% of the goals in the second half. So we ain't going to score in those first 15 minutes. Look, they are beatable, Manchester City. Their average points at home is 1.93. Our average points away, 0.57.
Yeah, it's that
high. But our last win did come away from home in the toilet bowl that is Tottenham's ground. Brighton got a point off them, so they can be, and then I think they lost last time out, didn't they? 1-0 to Forest. So they can be beaten. Will they be beaten this time, Brad?
No, they won't. They won't be beaten this time. We couldn't beat an egg. So you got no chance of Leicester beating them because you name teams that actually know how to play football and have a manager, not a clown in charge. Not some part-time ex-footballer that's living off his glory years. And Man City are just suffering from burnout. The last time they didn't retain the title was literally 5 seasons ago, and it was COVID, and they were burned out, Chris. And what Pep Guardiola did is exactly what Fergie did. And I hate to admit it, because you know what I think about the difference between Pep and Fergie in terms of, Fergie did prove he could do it elsewhere before Manchester United and had to do a little bit of building work with Man U, right? Man City will just sell 150 million and spend 450 million because fuck PSR and fuck the rules. It doesn't matter to Manchester City. I half joked with you, I think, earlier in the season that maybe Man City knew they were going to get like a 20-point deduction. So they said, what's the point in winning a league to have it taken away on a technicality of rule breaking? But they're just burning out. They were a million miles off Liverpool in that COVID season. I think they were like 20 points near enough off them before they played each other at December. I think Liverpool were like 18 to 20 points clear at that point. And they're a far cry from anything. You could say it's probably worse this time around because they're looking like missing out on Champions League football. But you know what Man City are like, Chris. They'll manage just to do enough to squeak into 4th place. And also, they'll probably be like a rich kid getting grounded and throw the toys out the pram if they go to Champions League football and threaten to quit the league again. Will it be a bad thing? I don't know. But, yeah, Man City, this is going to be easy for them. Dr. Leicester's around. All you have to do is looking at the stats and figures of how these teams go about scoring goals, and if Man City score one, the game's over. So yeah, it's easy return back to form. Nice 3 points. Erling Haaland hasn't scored in about 6 weeks, so you know he's getting a hat trick before half time. Chris,
It is scary. I am thinking, like, 10-0 here. It could actually beat the record. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, he's a clown. He's a jester, whatever you want to call him, isn't it? I mean,
it's actually impressive. He's got the outfit on the right way in that picture, because I'm thinking he'd fuck that up and all.
Wayne lost to Man United 3-0, lost to Chelsea 1-0, lost to West Ham 2-0, lost to Brentford 4-0, lost to Arsenal 2-0, lost to Everton 4-0, all in the league since we last won a game. And it's funny that we've got our manager is a guy who scored 10 goals in 10 consecutive league games. Our striker is the guy that scored 11 goals in 11 consecutive league games, and we cannot score a goal in 7 games. I mean, 7, 1, 2, 3, for 6 games. Sorry, we cannot score in 6 games. I don't know what other. I mean, we know we've lost 7 home games without scoring. It's not just a Premier League record. It's a top division record, even probably when it was Midlands Division South or something. We just, if we get relegated, when we get relegated this year, we've been relegated from the Premier League more times than any other club or the top flight. I mean, yeah, exactly. But I mean, what more can be heaped on this club before Top turns around and actually gets his balls out and swings them and does something to turn things around? Because buying us Cokes and buying us burgers and giving us free beer ain't going to wash much longer, if at all, now.
No, I mean, I've put notes on all the away teams as Brad's been doing home, and on Leicester I haven't got any notes, because basically what positive is it to say? Everything that you've said is true, and that's the paradox, the irony that a world-class striker managing a world-class striker and his goals have completely dried up. And the fact, because we're all talking about like the Michael Owen, he's just tapping merchants, he's just a scruffy striker. All the things he said about him, we're thinking, oh, come on, get to Michael Owens, beat his record, shut him up. And he must have thought, well, if I get 10 goals this season, I'll play for Leicester next season for free, because all I need is 4 or 5 goals, and that's me done. And he's completely dried up. And if I was him, I'd be well pissed off Jamie Vardy, because apparently he did get on well with Steve Cooper, didn't he, Jamie Vardy? I think that is the rumour that he liked Steve Cooper, and he was scoring under Steve Cooper. That's the bottom line. Jamie Vardy was scoring. Well, the whole
team was under at one point. Steve Cooper was scored in every game. Do you remember those games? Do you remember? I mean, for God's sake, it seems ages ago.
Well, it does seem surreal. It seems a different season to this season, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Rob Taft says here, why is Rude getting the blame? Well, Leicester doing well before. Answer is no. But we were doing better before.
We were 17th, and all Leicester fans before the season says if we finish 17th, job done, and then we might be able to build in the future. So what does finishing 17th mean? Does it mean being 13th or 12th or 14th and then falling down, or does it mean being 17th all the way through the season? And
I actually wish that we'd actually got a points deduction, because that would not make us look as shit as we are. Because we can say, well, we of course we got relegated. We had 6 points taken off us. We'd make Southampton look good. But look, it's embarrassing. It's totally 100% embarrassing. Brad, give me your score.
I nearly went 10-0, but I went 4-0.
4-0. Wayne?
I think it's going to be 4-1, and I think that's because Man City will because they've been playing quite shit, because they're missing Rodri. I think they will leave the door open for Vardy to get one.
Sad thing is, I agree with one of you. The good news is wrong way, Wayne. The good news is that I agree with Wayne. I've gone 4-1, and I also think that Vardy will get a goal. But like they say, poking a bear. He will score early on. Vardy will get one, and we'll suddenly think, yes, this is on. We could do this. And then they'll just come back and say, you dared to score against us? How very dare you? If we actually go 1-0 up, I will be saying this, which you can't see. That's really good, isn't it? I'll be saying that. In fact, the other thing I'll be saying is stop the match at 1-0 up. I think we all agree there's not much hope for us at all. Newcastle Brentford. Let's have a look at this. Newcastle, who we've got, of course, coming up after Manchester City and before Liverpool. For fuck's sake. Newcastle United have conceded a total of 9 goals in their last 3 home games, having kept a clean sheet in each of their previous 3 home matches. Brentford have won their last 5 away matches, in which they've scored a total of 14 goals, conceded only 2. Brad, I'm thinking, look, this is a home game for Newcastle. It's the first game since they won a trophy. They're going to be ejaculating all over the pitch, the fans, aren't they? Sorry, I didn't go through the Leicester scores, did I? Sorry.
No, don't, Chris, don't. Let's stay where we are. It's just painful.
I've got a 1-1 in there. I've got a 3-1 to. No, it's a 1-1. I've got a 1-1. That was nobody wanted to predict it. Probably the players.
Man City 2, Leicester 1, and Man City 2-0 by Craig and Paul, respectively. So I didn't get any better. I don't know why I brought it up.
But I think the players could be sliding over on all the jizz-covered pitch. Newcastle, fair play to Newcastle. Look, congratulations, on denying Liverpool a treble. And they deserve it. They have had some bad years. But Brentford like to win away. Brad, which way is this going to go?
So this is a game really where if it had happened straight after it, you could have said it was a hangover effect. But I still don't think Newcastle fans will care, Chris. They were too busy singing about how they finally ended 70 years without a trophy. The players that weren't on, will be wanting to put on a show. And it's one of the very few moments in football. And we had it a lot in the 90s, Chris, because we used to call Wembley our second home, didn't we, in the 90s? Where the game kind of before and afterwards is just a write-off. It doesn't matter if you win them both or lose them both. What matters is what goes on in the final. And this could be a game, Chris, where the atmosphere and the fans are acting like they're 6-0 up, and really they're getting beat, and they don't really care because they've won the trophy. And it's like, who cares? We're in Europe. We've won the Carabao Cup. Why are the lads and all that shit? And it could be really dull as dishwater, but it won't be last on Match of the Day because Shearer will have a shotgun to the BBC's head as if they put Newcastle last after 2 weeks ago, should I say, when they very convincingly, should I say, beat Liverpool. I watched the game. I watched the second half with my housemates. A Newcastle fan, was pleased for him, and they obviously didn't. They honestly, Liverpool didn't lay a glove on them. I didn't know Liverpool had signed James Blunt's ugly brother, the goal scorer for Liverpool, because my God, does he look like him, and what an absolute schnoz he's got on him. There was appeals for that to be offside. His nose is that big. But yeah, Newcastle brilliant, and I think this could be one of them games where it's like the after effect. Chris, like you said,
you knows what you're talking about, don't you?
I do. There's not a thing I leave out of my report.
No, there's not, and it's not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, it's not. You could say though, with results in the past, that Brentford is one of their bogey teams.
Hey.
We've gone full circle there. We've gone full circle there.
We'll end it there. We'll end it there.
The show as well. See you later, guys. That's the show. No, but I think this will be a fun game to watch, even if you're just watching it for its atmosphere. This is a weird sentence to say, but I think you know how I mean it.
Yeah. That said, Wayne, like you say, is there going to be a bit of a hangover? I mean, Newcastle's last 4 home, going back 1 lost 1. The 2 games they won, they did win against Forest 4-3, believe it or not. They beat Wolves, they lost to Fulham and Bournemouth. Brentford beat Bournemouth, beat Leicester, who doesn't, beat West Ham, beat Crystal Palace. And I know Newcastle are a different kettle of fish, but would it surprise you if Brentford came away with anything here?
I mean, against that Bournemouth were all over Brentford, missed loads of chances. I think it was a goal or 2 offside. And Brentford just hit them on the break, basically. Frankel's a great man. They've got a brilliant midfield. Norgard, Janelt and Damsgaard. And who was it? Wissa scored from the corner, and from a header from a corner. And when he scored, he ran all the way over to the bench and high-fived the set-piece coach.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been working on that corner. He scored the goal. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, we signed a set-piece coach, didn't we? Brought an expert in, didn't we?
Oh, we've signed 1 or 2, I think, haven't we, over the time?
Yeah. And these teams that score from corners with headers, Chris, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so complicated.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I think Brentford, yeah. So Brentford, really good form. They're playing better than Bournemouth at the minute. And Buemo and Wissa up front are brilliant, like winger. Stroke getting loads of goals. And I've still got Newcastle down to win because they are just outside the top 5. And now the FA Cup sorted out. They're not in the cup. I think they will be going for Champions League again.
Well, Brad, what's your prediction?
Well, like I said, I think it'll be a party atmosphere. And like I said, I feel like Newcastle will be cheering and dancing and singing. I don't know if there'll be too much eyes on the game. I think there'll be too many beers drank because this is the first game they've really had to celebrate it at St James's Park, isn't it? You know, worst time for an international break if you really want to brag about it at your home ground. You really want, you know, you're itching for that first home game to really sing about it, you know. But yeah, I mean, I actually think this will be a bit of a bore game. And I haven't predicted one in a while. I haven't gone for a last of match of the day in a while. And I still haven't quite gone there. But I do think this will be last on match of the day to Shearer's dismay. Because I've gone Newcastle United 1, Brentford 1.
Interesting. We know which way you're going to go, but what's the goal, Wayne?
I'd love it if Newcastle beat Brentford. I'd say 3-1 to Newcastle.
Well, again, we've got a draw and we've got a home win. Paul's just said, can't see Brentford winning 6 consecutive away games. Could you see Leicester going 7 consecutive home games without scoring? Probably not before. I'm going to go completely different to you two because I think Brentford will snatch this. I think Newcastle. I don't think Eddie Howe will allow the players to do it, but I think there'll be not necessarily a hangover, but certainly a. I think the minds will still be at Wembley. I am going to go Newcastle United 1, Brentford 2.
It's funny, Brentford's away form. Brentford was so strong at home and rubbish away, and now it's completely flipped.
Yeah,
unbeatable away.
That's the thing. And Newcastle's home form is hit and miss. They've Craig's gone 3-1 Newcastle. Paul has gone at 3-1 Newcastle as well. Like I say, Paul said can't see Brentford winning 6 consecutive away games. Why not? I think they could. And Prashant has gone Newcastle 3, Brentford 2. So that definitely wouldn't be last on match of the day. Again, I suppose this is another one that's going to be probably easy to predict. And that is Southampton hosting Chelsea, Crystal Palace. I didn't think that any team could actually end up with less than Derby's 11 points. I think they could. I think Southampton could do that, you know. Southampton have failed to keep a clean sheet in 27 of their 29 matches. Palace have won each of their last 4 away games as the same scoreline, 2-0. And Palace have been undefeated in their last 9 away matches. Isn't it funny that of the 6-7 teams that were all fighting for relegation for the first couple of months, the one team that didn't change their manager is the team that's basically has been safe for weeks now. Very, very interesting. Southampton, look, God, this is worse than us. Worse than us. Their home points per game, 0.29. Wow. Their away game, 1.69 points for Crystal Palace. I'm sorry, I'm not going to surprise anybody. I can't see Southampton getting anything from this at home. Can you, Brad? And it's another, again, that technically I don't think they're down, but will they be down if Wolves win and they lose this week?
I'll
have a look at that while you're telling me about Southampton.
Look, Southampton are more dead in the water than us, and that's quite impressive. I even think they have the same points as Derby did at this point in the season, which is tragically impressive if that is the case. And you could argue that Ipswich's plight with going for youngsters and keeping with the lads that got them promoted for the majority of it has kind of lootened on them. They've not had enough firepower to make it work, but it's probably been the more successful, if you want to call it that, than the 3 teams that have come up. Because, like I said, they fought, they've knitted and gritted, they've been unlucky in games, they were robbed of a few. Southampton tried that, and it's been absolutely woeful. I saw in the paper that they've angered, I think it's Dibley's agent, not the vicar of Dibley, the youngster, Tyler. They've angered his agent, and they've angered a few Premier League clubs because they've said, well, we're going to go down this season, but you're not getting him unless you're going to pay 100 million for him.
Mark Goldbridge has had a few words to say about that, I can tell you.
Yeah, which I mean, at the end of the day, though, he's their player, Southampton or Liverpool B, as they used to be known as. And if he's got a long contract with him, what right do they have? Do they have to just go, well, you're down a division and need money, so we're going to give you £2.50 for him? Yeah, so fair play to him on that front. I actually respect him for it, because you look at what Leicester did. We weren't financially struggling last season in the Championship. We were willing, and to a degree, the players were happy enough to wait for our valuations of them to be met with Barnes and Madden, respectively. But my God, is it a mess?
Yeah,
they stuck with the players they had. They stuck with the youth players, signed a few players when they got rid of the village idiot that took them up. Speaking of Southampton, funny to see Leeds doing the exact same thing. Look like they're going in the playoffs, don't they? But that was just because of Southampton, Leeds, how they got here. But they're going down miserably, Chris. I'm not going to say what I predicted, because obviously Wayne's going to talk about Palace. But what I'm going to say is I had the same bad feeling, weirdly enough, about this as I did Ipswich.
Really?
Just one of them games, Chris. One of them games, as I say.
I'm just looking for some odds on this, and I can't find them at the moment.
The odds are Southampton probably lose.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's just embarrassing. But Palace, look, they're stuck by their manager, Wayne, and out of everybody that swapped, even Everton, it's Palace that are higher than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, look at the points total. I mean, my goodness me. You know, what points on the mid-table? 39 points. That's the depressing thing, isn't it? You know, Wolves are out of reach anyway, but the 39 points. When we played them that, we could have gone above that. It's just the same happened in the relegation season last time, didn't it? Played Southampton, bottom of the table. There you go, Southampton. Here's 3 points. So, yeah, I mean, they are very impressive. You know, won 4 of the last 6. Glasner is a great manager. I mean, look at that. I mean, their forward midfield and their forward line, Eze, Mateta, you know, he's like Beto at Everton. He looks like, he's a bit, you know, cumbersome, not quite skillful, but he gets a lot of goals for them. And to be honest, they did really well to keep hold of Eze, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah.
They've always brought through youth, exciting kids, brought them in. And that's one thing I do like about Palace. They've always played the young kids and they've brought them on and they're giving them opportunities.
It says if Southampton win, Southampton will reduce the gap with Crystal Palace to a 27-point difference. No, they wouldn't, by the way, if they would still have a chance of staying up because we've got
Come on, Chris, figure it out.
I had got it figured out. Now I can't work out. So Southampton have got 9 points at the moment. Wolves, if they win, will have 29. So that's a 20-point difference. But there's still going to be 24 points to play for. So, yeah, no. So if it goes that way, Southampton could be the first team relegated this weekend. Interesting. Just for any fans that are watching from the South Coast port, Southampton have lost their last 5 matches. Southampton failed to keep a clean sheet in each of their last 12 matches. 66% of Southampton's matches have had over 2.5 goals scored in total. Southampton conceded at least 1 goal in 13 of their 14 home matches. Southampton have failed to score in 6 of their 14 home matches. Southampton were losing at half-time in 17 of their 29 matches. Southampton have lost 24 of their 29 matches. Southampton have lost 12 of their 14 home matches. Southampton have lost their last 9 home matches. Southampton have failed to win in their last 9 home matches. Southampton failed to keep a clean sheet in each of their last 9 home matches. Nearly there, bear with me. Southampton have conceded 2 goals or more in each of their last 5 matches. Southampton have conceded 2 goals or more in each of their last 5 home matches.
Sorry, Chris.
Don't use that as part of your Southampton team talk.
No. So can I just say, next time you're thinking, oh, God, isn't it shit at Leicester? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris, we didn't quite catch that. What football club was that you were talking about?
Leicester.
Right, it's all right.
No, I mean, like I say, there's always somebody worse off, isn't there?
And we're both on 17 points, Chris.
Yeah. Yes. Southampton Palace, Brad, what's your score prediction?
Oh, I had a horrible gut feeling that this would be one of them random games that Southampton would win, like 1-0 or 2-1, because it's Palace. But I've seen sense, and I've gone Saints 0, Palace 2.
Keep going. You might have got it wrong. Keep going. Wayne.
Southampton 1, Palace 3.
Oh, Wayne, you little tinker. I have gone.
I wanted to call you something else then.
I nearly did. I have gone Southampton 1, Palace 3.
Ooh.
So I have agreed with you.
Must be desperate, Chris.
Rich is in. Hi, Rich. How are you doing? Red Devil United, Manchester United channel. How are you doing? Yes, I know they've beaten us 4 times, but Rich is always welcome. He's a good friend of the channel. But if you want Vinicius Roy back, just drop us a line. There'll be plenty of people that will be happy to drive him back up to Manchester for you. Southampton are so poor. Lucky Palace, nice game after an international break. Paul has gone Southampton 1, Palace 3. Prashant has gone 9-0 to Palace. Wow. And Rico, hello, Rico. How are you doing? Just in time for your game. And he has gone 1-0 to Southampton. Wow. My God, I wasn't expecting that.
How many times can you say Southampton in 2 minutes, Chris?
Well, when you're reading out the predictions for Southampton, it's quite... For those of you who didn't get it, Southampton have lost their last 5 matches. Southampton failed to keep a clean sheet in the last 12 matches. Just in case anybody missed it, I can go through that again. Guess what's coming up next, everybody? It's the Merseyside Derby. We've had the last one at Goodison Park, which was a bit of a fiery affair. Let's be honest. This one is the last one before, obviously, Everton move into their new stadium. Liverpool have scored 2 goals or more in each of their last 9 matches. The Reds have won each of their 15 matches when they were leading at half-time. Liverpool are the only team that scored in each of their 15 away games. But Everton have been undefeated in their last 9 matches, scoring in each of them and drawing the last 4. Wow. David Bloody Moyes. Well done, sir. Liverpool have got at home a 2.5 points per game ratio. Everton away have got a 1.07. Look, it's a Merseyside derby, and Liverpool always do seem to struggle, Brad. But is this we're going to see a bit of a sting in the tail here? Are Liverpool going to say we're a bit pissed off because they've been knocked out of 2 competitions in a couple of weeks?
I mean, they're probably pissed off, but I don't think it will stop them. They're kind of like a marathon runner, aren't they, Chris? That's gone out the box flying, got ahead of the pack because they're not sure if the legs can manage to get them over that last half a mile. And all of a sudden, the legs feel like jelly. They're stopping every 5 seconds for a breather and a fag on the side just to get some energy back. But I feel like Everton, it was written for them to go and do something against Liverpool at Goodison Park.
Yes. Yeah.
The last time there. And I feel like it was one of them where they used up all their energy, if you will. And I just see this as a game where I think the scoreline will flatter. But I just see Liverpool getting themselves back on track a bit better now. So sorry, Rico. I think you've done really well since the prodigal old man returned. I can't say son because he's about 76. But since you brought back the old wise owl, you've done really well and deserve to be safe. Unlike previous seasons where you deserve to go down, this season you can say, "Yeah, you got it right. Well done." I just don't. I think it's just a different kettle of fish at Anfield, to be honest with you.
Look, Everton, looking at the last 8 games, neither of these 2 teams have actually lost in the last 8 games. Liverpool won 6 of theirs. Everton have only won 3. Look, Moyes, as much as I wanted him, I think other people wanted him as well, he was never going to come to Leicester. He didn't want a relegation battle, but the pull of Everton being, with what he had there was too much for him. What a fantastic bloody job he has done.
He's done a brilliant job. I mean, to be able to go back and help turn their season around. And as well, Moyes probably looked at our squad and thought, shit, no. Whereas he looked at Everton's squad and they've got quality in there. They've got Decore, I think, is one of the best sort of midfield, competitive midfield, sits in front of the back 4, but also he scores goals. And They've got Mikolenko who's solid in defence. Beto up front. You know, like a lot of forwards. Not super skillful, but he's got a load of goals this season for the amount of money he cost. Very effective. And Everton have doing really well. In the last game against West Ham, they had 13 shots. So they are creating a lot of chances, Everton. And that's what Jim said. I did look at that article that said the tactical tweaks that Moyes has made to Everton. And he's getting people further forward and getting people into the box. They're more committed to getting in the box and creating chances. And really, you wouldn't think that Moyes would be that kind of manager. You'd associate him with being defensive. So, brilliant, Moyes, Everton, and I do think they will give Liverpool a really good game.
Well, it is always difficult to predict a Merseyside derby, but you're going to have to do that, Brad.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like it's a different kettle of fish this time around when it's at Anfield. I feel like Everton, you talk about a game of two halves. I think this will be a fixture of two halves. Everton went everything at Liverpool. They will forever be able to say, no matter what you do to us now, our last game at Goodison Park, W for us. And fair play to them. They were brilliant in that game as well. However, I have gone, sorry, Rico, but I've gone Liverpool 3, Everton 1.
Ooh, okay. Wayne?
Oh, I nearly went the same as Brad, but actually, I think Liverpool are stuttering, like with Gakpo and different things. So I'm going to go for a Desmond 2-2.
Hey!
Ooh, we've all got a Desmond! Hey! Merseyside derbies are always tight. We know that. Again, Rico, what David Moyes has done is absolutely unreal. Liverpool are on a down a lot. They've been knocked out of 2 competitions in a couple of weeks. Well, not knocked out. They obviously lost one in the final. But this one is at Liverpool. Liverpool have lost 2, like I say, competitions. They're going to be up for this, I think, especially after what happened in the last game. I think there's probably still going to be some leftovers there. I think it's going to be very tight. I think there's only going to be a goal in it. And I have gone Liverpool 1, Everton 0. I think it'll be tight. Crash Hunter's agreed with you there, Wayne, and he has gone 2-2. Craig Gilbert has gone 2-2 as well. So, couple of Desmonds in the chat, and finally, folks, and now the end is near. Chelsea Spurs. Does anybody really care?
No.
Obviously, Enzo at Chelsea was totally confused because the opposition manager decided to change his formation. Still beat us, though. Look, I mean, there's not even anything written down for me to read out about this game. This is how insignificant it is. Chelsea, though, sneaking up. They're in 4th. They've snuck up. Enzo's lasted longer than I thought he would. They've already made a couple of signings ready for the summer, which is probably nothing that Enzo had anything to do with. Spurs. 14th. Only 10 wins. I mean, they're actually below Manchester United. And Andrew's there saying, he does all this in his second seasons. 2 goals, 2 points a game on average at home for Chelsea. 1.14 away for Tottenham. I think this is just going to be a bit too easy for Chelsea, or is it, Brad?
No, it is. It is. It's Spurs, mate. Even we beat Spurs. In fact, Spurs couldn't even beat us, and we're going to go down. I mean, how crap are you, really? Seriously. How crap are you as a team if you can't beat Leicester this season? Yeah, so no, it's gonna be easy. You know, someone said about Palace getting a lovely easy game after the international break. But Chelsea have got probably the easiest one because Tottenham Hotspur are, if we're the doctor of the league giving out points and goals this season, then chief of medicine is Tottenham Hotspur, aren't they, Chris?
Yes.
They are definitely chief of medicine going around. Look, the only thing you can guarantee from this game, Chris, is there'll be handbags. Because every time these two play each other, there's always I want to say a punch up, but we're not in 90s football anymore. So it's all handbags and all pushing and shoving and flicking ears and falling to the floor like you've been shot by a sniper every time someone brushes your arm. So this should be, Chris, and it's given away which way I'm going with this one. This should be a comfortable day out for Chelsea.
Of course, as Brad always says, I'm going to quote a Brad line here. They're called Spursy for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah, last 6 games, 1-1-1, but the last 3 games, lost, drawn, lost. What can you do? I mean,
With a drunken sailor, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Maddison didn't start in the last game. They're losing the way, to be honest. I mean, Son Heung-min, it's hard to say his name. He's really struggling this year. So a lot of ways, you think Maddison moved to Spurs, probably help him get in England set up. Doesn't happen. Solanke, big signing from Bournemouth, hasn't really worked out, has it? Spurs, I think. But Chelsea, like you have that guest on from the Chelsea channel, he said it's such boring football, loads of possession. The winger gets the ball, ends up going back to the centre half. So, yeah, it could be a very boring game, to be honest.
Well, let's get straight to it. Brad, what are you going for?
2-0 Chelsea.
Oh, God, I asked you first. Wayne?
2-1 Spurs.
Sorry. Hold on a minute. Wayne, you just said 2-1 Spurs.
I think Chelsea are that poor.
You're talking about a team in 4th against a team that are 14th.
When we played Chelsea, they were quite shit, though, weren't they?
But they still managed. But they were shit and beat us. Spurs were shit and lost to us. Are you sure you're going to go 2-1 Spurs?
I'm going to go
sit down and let these two carry on for a bit.
Anomaly.
I'm just trying to save you from Chris pressing a load of Jeremy Clarkson buzzers at you and everything when this ends up like 2 or 3-0 to Chelsea. Unless
I appreciate your heartfelt care, but I'm going. This is my Maverick wildcard play.
Well, it's definitely wild.
Is it?
Ooh.
Well, if 2 idiots turn up into a village,
the one that's already there has to leave. Hey,
I'll have a job. I walked in. I set that one up for you, didn't I? Really?
You did. just a tad, Brad. It's going to be a Chelsea win. I think it'll be Chelsea 3, Tottenham 1, because I do agree. I think Chelsea, from talking to that Chelsea fan, look, we could have probably, if we'd have been anybody other than Leicester, we could have probably got a goal against them. They were nothing special, but Spurs are even worse than us at times. But they may get a goal, but it might just be a compensation goal. But I've gone 3-1 to Chelsea. You watch, it'll be 2-2 now. Guys, thank you very much. That is it. That is the end. And now the end is near. The final curtain has come down. We've all gone for a 2-2. I got stuck in having to agree with Brad once. I know. Can I change that, Brad?
No. I want that to be the only one you get 3 points on.
Do you know what? What he doesn't know is that, I mean, when he sends me the league table through, do you ever actually check the points that I put up?
No.
No, you don't. Just saying.
I hand you the table, and then I check the phone when I see that you've docked yourself. You've doctored it and give yourself an extra 10 points.
Normally, in fairness, I do message him back and going, Brad, I think I got an extra point last week that you've not. No, I just left it. I just didn't even bother arguing.
No, actually, Chris, the reason you probably look like you've got an extra couple of points. What is it? What is it you've actually got then? Just for the laugh, let's see what it is you've put up on your points. Spring table.
Hang on a second. Let me just bring it back up.
No, I said the table, not the clown.
No, I'm putting the clown up while I go back to the table.
There you are. Yeah, so what have you got there? No, that is actually correct because I sent you an unedited version, Chris. And what you'll see here, not that it matters the rest of it, when you said that you were a few points off, I gave you a few points left. I actually had you down as an edit, so you were back up to 171. So the 2 points you got from last week is the why you're at 173. It was my previous best mass, but I made a note to edit it when I did when I had to hurt my brain and calculate all your mass points from this week.
Well, that would have been the easiest week for you to total up for me.
It was. I actually managed to. It took me probably longer. It probably took me longer to write down everybody's name and do it than it did to edit the table out, because I think about 3 people actually swap places.
Have you heard about spreadsheets, Brad?
I have, and I've heard they spread rumours as well, so I don't like to deal with them.
Well, they spread something. Guys, thank you very much. Are you going to be free on Wednesday for the...
No, I won't.
Oh, honestly, he's got a woman and all this sort of, bros before hose lark.
Look, if I'm going to watch Leicester get smashed with anybody, it isn't going to be you, mate. If the choices are you or Jess, I know which one I'm picking.
So you'd sooner smash Jess, would you? Is that what you're saying?
Take that as content as you like, but yeah, well, whatever. Good night.
Hey, if Roy King can say it, I can say it.
Signals break.
Are you free, Wayne?
No, he's 62.
I'll have to get back to Chris on that.
I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know your actual age, but I just said a number quickly because I could see that my brain was itching to say it. Sorry, Wayne.
No, so all right. Welcome. We're doing a watch along on Wednesday. Could be on my own.
There might only be one of you, Chris, but you'll get more than Leicester will.
Yeah. Tom's there, Mr. Reliable. You know what I mean?
Oh, Mr. gives 5s out for a 0 performance.
Yes, he's there. We will be back on Monday with a preview of the Manchester City game. That'll be a laugh a minute, won't it? And then Tuesday, we've got a say hello, wave goodbye for everybody that remembers Soft Cell show. And then Wednesday, we've got the watch along. Thursday next week, we'll be doing this again. And I'll be busy adding up all my points that I'm going to get. Hey. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. As Blue Fox said there. And Prashant, thank you as well. Thank you to everybody that was in the chat. Remember to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, click the notification bell and share it. And if you've been listening to us via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much for lending me your ears, as they say. And I will see you all soon. Take care, guys. And thanks for these 2 Muppets below me as well. Do you remember the Muppets? Stadler and Waldorf. Yeah, you might be looking around. I was probably more like Fozzie Bear and Miss Piggy, but, on that note...
Now, don't call it Miss Piggy.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.